Padres fans, I got bad news and a crazy idea for you. We got to talk about Xander Bogaerts and his season potentially being over and what that means for the San Diego Padres as they chase the NL West Championship. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much for tuning in to the show. As always, if you want to comment on this, please do. I think there are plenty of opportunities here for comments, both good and bad. Those we always welcome. But also, if you want to hit the subscribe, that would be much appreciated too. Let's get to what I was talking about. Xander Bogaerts, here is the news. He is being moved to the IL with a broken foot. A non-displaced fracture in his left foot that we saw him suffer against Seattle. Mason McCoy is recalled to AAA. This is the bare minimum fact, is that the injury that he is out for the rest of the season. Like, he's gone for the rest of the regular season. Latest article from Kevin Acee of the San Diego Union-Tribune said that the Padres expect Bogaerts has a chance to be back for the postseason. That is I want to say that is no more than an optimistic platitude. That is the Padres doing the bare responsible minimum of like giving some degree of a positive spin to what's going on. Like, losing Xander Bogaerts is not a good thing. So losing Xander Bogaerts outright for like, oh, we'll see him in 2026 is a bad thing, and saying Xander Bogaerts could be back in a month is a not quite as bad thing. Do I think that he's actually coming back? I don't know. Broken foot's kind of, I guess all injuries are crazy to come back from in a certain sense of like how quickly versus how long they are supposed to take to heal. But a broken foot and a broken hand both seem relatively key to baseball performance, because like that's the point of impact with the hands and then the feet. Picture the feet spinning and all the stuff required in swinging and then running around bases. Or, as Xander does very well, moving to your left and your right defensively. That's part of what Xander is really, really good at. Here are the numbers for Bogaerts this season. He had started to hit significantly better than he had been hitting for the majority of the season. Recently, he just, since July, he's been hitting over 300, so this was all ticking upwards. And like I said, he's a fantastic defensive option. Xander, I'm trying to have my brain figure out a way to be like, oh, we don't need him, because I don't know who is or isn't, or if there even is or isn't a centralized key piece to Padres' success. But Xander getting better and hitting more seems to have coincided with Padres playing significantly better. So us taking a step backwards in that category is not going to be good. Jose Iglesias took over in the lineup at shortstop so far. This is the list. We bring up Mason McCoy. I don't think we bring up Mason McCoy to get legitimate playing time at shortstop. Jose Iglesias, these are his numbers. He's not having the year that he had last year. He has regressed to being a typical multi-use veteran. If he is our only hole, and again, on all of this, please drop a comment. If he's our only hole, I can be talked into let Jose Iglesias babysit the shortstop position for a month, and then let's worry about it, because having one guy who's going to hit 230 isn't the end of like that's not an offensive black hole entirely. And as a veteran, he's not going to mess up at the position. Like yada yada da da da. Maybe he is a good babysitter, but I also think about it this way: of Padres need to try and not regress at any point right now. As of us recording this, for 2 games back in the NL West, we have seen the Padres in first place several times so far later in the season. They have regressed several times with the Dodgers. But that being said, the Padres, I think, are very much still in a not just a wild card hunt, but they are in a division hunt. They are looking for the opportunity to win the NL West, because they do have one of the easiest remaining schedules. So when I put these when I put these names up here, maybe this isn't like the craziest ideas, but here's the proposition. And Andrew and I are in agreement on this. Shout out to Andrew for always having plenty of baseball opinions. And the fact that we can sometimes overlap and sometimes not and still be friends, despite me also being a boomer. It all is working out great. But he and I, throughout the discussion of move Cronenworth to short, put Arraez at second, and then O'Hearn at first, Sheets DH. What do you think about that? Let me say that. Let me run through them what the whole infield would be. You've got Fermin behind the dish, O'Hearn at first, Luis Arraez at second, Jake Cronenworth at short, Manny Machado at third. What do you think about that? Is that crazy? Or is that awesome? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That would be rough defensively. And so there are probably plenty of U-metrics people out there that are able to say, no, that wouldn't work, that wouldn't work, that wouldn't work. Okay, but hear me out. The offense of that, though. The offense of getting Arraez's bat in the lineup every day, O'Hearn's bat, getting Cronenworth, okay, he could still have a couple of good stretches between now and the end. Like, I don't know. I'm curious where you guys are at, because if you want to put stock in Xander coming back, then I get maybe you don't want to do this whole shift, because then having to move Jake back to second when you go to the playoffs because Xander's back. Okay, sure. Vote for that and drop that in the comments. But if we're gonna be maybe more pessimistic, more realistic of expecting Xander to just take a 4-week return on a broken foot and just come back and be like, boom, insert him into the lineup. Do you have that kind of faith in this guy? Maybe you do. If you think Xander coming back is still the option, and you want Jose Iglesias put in at short, I can be talked. I'm not completely against that, but I can be talked into that being just it's just not going to hurt us. But I see this as a bigger picture issue of Padres don't really have a shortstop to call up. Padres don't have an LDV. Padres don't have a project. Padres don't have some sort of hot shot guy. There's nobody in the minor league waiting to be the next one. So I think instead of taking your next shortstop option, you just have to take next best option. And to me, next best option is getting basically it comes down to getting Arraez, Sheets, and O'Hearn all in the lineup every time versus a combo of those two and then Iglesias. And I think that Iglesias being a worse hitter than those, you got to just put your best hitters out there is what I would say. But I don't know, maybe that's too crazy of a restructuring of the infield. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think on the specifics of any of this, but just on the generality of, is this going to be give me the scale of how bad you think that this is for the Padres, because I am still reeling emotionally from it right now, and I'm trying not to overreact and be like, it's done, we're cooked, the whole, the vibe's going to fall apart. So let me know what you think. Let's turn this into group therapy. As always, appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. At the beginning, like I said, if you want to hit the subscribe button, power to you. Till next time, though, we'll talk to you soon.